Hey, exhausted parent. If you're watching this at 3 a.m. while your baby refuses to sleep anywhere but your arms, I've been there. Those tiny naps, the moment they wake as soon as you put them down. It's exhausting. I won't promise 8 hours of sleep overnight, but I will share proven strategies to help your baby sleep longer and better. No gimmicks, just practical advice that works. In this video, we'll explore why newborns struggle with sleep, how to create the ideal sleep environment, bedtime routines that actually help, and bonus tips for handling sleep regressions. Let's turn those short naps into longer, more restful sleep for your baby and you. Why newborns struggle with sleep. First, let's understand why your newborn's sleep seems so chaotic. Unlike adults who cycle between light and deep sleep every 90 minutes or so, newborns cycle every 50 to 60 minutes. And they spend about half their sleep time in active, REM sleep, that light, dreamy sleep where their eyes might flutter, they make little noises, and they're easily awakened. This biological design actually serves a purpose. Babies need to wake frequently to feed and grow. Their tiny stomachs can only hold so much milk, and those frequent wakings were evolutionarily designed to keep them safe and fed. Understanding this won't make you less tired, but it might help you feel less frustrated when your baby wakes for the 5th time in one night. Another key factor is that newborns haven't developed their circadian rhythm yet. They haven't learned the difference between day and night because, well, they spent 9 months in the dark. This internal clock typically starts to develop around 6 to 8 weeks, but won't be fully established until closer to 3 to 4 months. Now let's talk about the infamous witching hour, that time typically between 5 to 11 p.m. when your previously content baby suddenly won't stop crying and refuses to sleep. Despite the name, it can actually last for several hours and is most common between 2 to 6 weeks of age. The witching hour is likely caused by a perfect storm of overtiredness, overstimulation after a day of activities, and possibly digestive discomfort as their system matures. It's not colic unless it persists for more than 3 hours a day, 3 days a week, for at least 3 weeks. Creating the perfect sleep environment. Creating the optimal sleep environment can dramatically improve your baby's sleep quality. Let's break down the essentials. First, temperature matters significantly. Babies sleep best in a room that's between 68-72 degrees Fahrenheit, 20-22 degrees Celsius. This might feel cool to you, but overheating is a SIDS risk factor, so it's better to dress your baby appropriately for a cooler room than to keep the room too warm. Speaking of dressing your baby, the general rule is to put them in one more layer than you're comfortable in. In warmer months, a onesie and light swaddle or sleep sack is perfect. In cooler months, footed pajamas plus a swaddle or sleep sack works well. Swaddling deserves special attention because it's incredibly effective for newborns. A snug swaddle mimics the womb's confined space and prevents the startle reflex from waking your baby. Make sure the swaddle is tight around the arms, but loose around the hips to allow for healthy hip development. If your baby seems to fight the swaddle, they're not necessarily telling you they hate it. Often they'll calm down once fully swaddled. However, once your baby shows signs of rolling, usually around 8 to 12 weeks, it's time to transition out of the swaddle to a sleep sack for safety. White noise is another game changer. It mimics the whooshing sounds your baby heard in the womb and helps mask household noises that might startle them awake. Place the white noise machine at least 6 to 7 feet away from your baby's sleeping area and set it at about the volume of a soft shower, around 65 to 70 decibels. Lighting plays a crucial role in establishing that circadian rhythm we talked about. During daytime naps, it's okay to have some natural light in the room. For nighttime sleep, Make the room as dark as possible with blackout curtains or shades. A dim red nightlight is okay for nighttime feedings, as red light doesn't suppress melatonin production. Now, let's address safe sleep guidelines, which are absolutely critical. The American Academy of Pediatrics recommends 1. Always place baby on their back to sleep for every sleep. 2. Use a firm, flat sleep surface covered only with a fitted sheet. 3. Room share, but not bed share, for at least the first 6 months, ideally the first year. 4. Keep the crib completely empty, no blankets, pillows, stuffed animals, or bumpers. Bedtime routines that work. A consistent bedtime routine is one of the most powerful tools for improving your baby's sleep. Even newborns can recognize patterns, and a predictable sequence of events signals that sleep time is approaching. Let's start with timing. Timing. Many parents are surprised to learn that newborns often do best with a bedtime between 7 and 8:30 p.m. While it might seem early, this actually aligns with their natural circadian rhythm. Putting your baby down during this window, before they become overtired, can lead to better sleep quality and duration. Watch for sleepy cues rather than strictly following wake windows. Early tired signs include decreased activity, quieting down, staring off, and slower movements. Later signs include rubbing eyes, pulling ears, and becoming fussy. Ideally, you want to start your routine when you notice those early cues. A newborn bedtime routine doesn't need to be elaborate. In fact, simplicity is better, as you'll be doing this every single day. A basic sequence might include 1. A warm bath. Daily baths aren't necessary. Every few days is fine for newborns too. Gentle baby massage with lotion. 3. Changing into fresh diaper and sleep clothes. 4. Swaddling. 5. Feeding in a dimly lit room. 6. A short lullaby or story. 7. Placing baby down in their sleep space. The entire routine should take about 20 to 30 minutes. Consistency is far more important than complexity. Now about that famous drowsy but awake advice. Many sleep experts recommend putting your baby down when they're sleepy but not fully asleep to help them learn to fall asleep independently. But does it actually work for newborns? Well, yes and no. The truth is, most newborns under 6 to 8 weeks aren't developmentally ready for self-soothing. Attempting drowsy but awake too early can lead to frustration for both you and your baby. That said, you can occasionally try placing your calm, drowsy baby down and see what happens. Some babies surprise their parents. Around 3 to 4 months is when babies develop more sleep maturity and can begin learning to fall asleep more independently. Until then, it's okay to help your newborn fall asleep. You're not creating bad habits, you're meeting their developmental needs. Bonus hacks and CTA. Now let's talk about some bonus sleep hacks that can make a big difference. First, be prepared for growth spurts, which typically occur around 2 to 3 weeks, 6 weeks, 3 months, and 6 months. During these times, your baby may suddenly wake more frequently to feed and seem extra fussy. This doesn't mean your sleep progress is lost. It's temporary. Increase feedings as needed and know that things will normalize again in a few days. The dreaded 4-month sleep regression deserves special mention. This isn't actually a regression, but a permanent change in sleep patterns as your baby transitions from newborn sleep cycles to more adult-like sleep architecture. This often means more night wakings and shorter naps temporarily. To navigate sleep regressions, maintain your consistent routines while being flexible enough to offer extra comfort when needed. This is often a good time to evaluate whether your baby is ready for a more structured approach to sleep training if that aligns with your parenting philosophy. Another helpful hack. Paced feeding can help ensure your baby gets a full feed rather than snacking, which leads to more frequent wakings. For breastfeeding, this might mean using breast compression or switch nursing. For bottle feeding, try slowing down the feed with frequent pauses. The dream feed is a strategy where you gently rouse your baby for a feeding right before you go to bed, usually between 10 to 11 p.m., without fully waking them. This can potentially get you a longer stretch of sleep during the first part of the night when your own sleep is deepest and most restorative. If your baby wakes just 20 to 30 minutes into a nap, a common pattern due to their sleep cycle length, try the roll-over technique. Immediately intervene with gentle patting, shushing, or rocking to help them transition into the next sleep cycle rather than fully waking. Consider tracking your baby's sleep for a week using an app or even just a notebook. Sometimes patterns emerge that aren't obvious day to day. You might discover your baby consistently sleeps better after a certain bedtime or struggles more on days with fewer naps. If you have a partner, take shifts during the night so each of you gets at least one longer stretch of uninterrupted sleep. Even a 4-hour chunk can make a huge difference in how you function the next day. Remember that your mental health matters too. Sometimes the best solution isn't a new sleep technique, but accepting help so you can rest. Whether that's having a family member watch the baby while you nap, hiring help if that's an option, or even just taking turns with your partner for self-care breaks. The most important thing to remember is that sleep challenges are temporary. Your baby's sleep will continuously evolve and improve over the first year. What seems impossible now will be a distant memory before you know it. I'd love to hear about your baby's specific sleep struggles in the comments below. Is it short naps? Early morning wakings? Difficulty falling asleep? Let me know so I can address your questions in future videos. If you found this helpful, please hit that subscribe button and notification bell so you don't miss our upcoming video on transitioning from bassinet to crib. And if you know another tired parent who could use these tips, please share this video with them. Until next time, hang in there. Better sleep is coming for both you and your baby. You've got this.